I have known and worked with Sylvan for the past 3 years, and it's been a very successful journey. Something that I embrace as a principal, as a leader of a campus, and I love Sylvan because I see the impact it's making not only on my students, but also in our approach with students. I clearly remember when I was researching about programs that would, one, supplement, two, intervene, and three, most importantly, make sure that they were meeting the needs of our student campus. And so when I looked at that, I think the biggest thing that I found that was so distinct from other programs was that the approach that Sylvan was taking was a FaceTime, and that even though it was going to include some kind of software, there was also going to be somebody that was highly qualified to support the software. So it wasn't just a student being left alone. It went back to the instructional core, which meant that there was going to be a teacher guiding the student, there was going to be a student present, and then there was going to be the content or the curriculum, if you will. And the fact that I knew that that matched our philosophy of education in our campus, it was just something that I just said, this is it. This is what we were looking for, that connection, the teacher, the software, and the student, but all of them meshed together in one classroom. Sylvan has been a great support in two areas, one academic and the other career. I think it's the perfect epitome of joining both the academics and the career readiness for our students. We had experience with Sylvan Sync, which has specifically focused in helping our students with math, reading, and writing. And what that has enabled our students to do is to get the one-on-one FaceTime, providing the students with the opportunity to ask questions, to see the step-by-step process, but most significantly to have the time to clearly explain what the step means. And I think when the teacher is able to explain what the step means, the student is able to apply it in future. And so those programs have really enriched what our students can do, not only in when they get to high school or college, but what they can do already in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So in both capacities, Sylvan has helped our students not only in the academics in the classroom, but also in the career readiness standards. 3 benefits that I see in Sylvan that really stand out is when a student knows that he can count on that teacher. And what I mean by that, they have a coin system that deals with motivation and positive attitude, and the fact that the kid knows that he's already struggling. He doesn't need to be reminded that he's struggling. And Sylvan does this great approach of keeping the atmosphere very positive, one where the kid can ask questions. And we have this thing going on our campus because of Sylvan, that before you tell me I'm wrong, can you teach me how? And Sylvan is a perfect example of that. And I think that's the way education should be for every student. They shouldn't feel intimidated or shy to ask a question. Another benefit that I see in Sylvan is that they're very consistent with their systems and procedures when it comes to how they execute. It's not a one-time try. If you don't see results, well, we're going to try something different. They stick to what they commit themselves to. What you see in the product, what you see in the program and the curriculum and in the teachers, they are going to follow through the entire year. They're not going to be switching it up for you because it's failing. On the contrary, they're going to be very consistent and show you how within time, and the longer it is, that you're going to see greater increments in your students' success. And the third benefit that I see is that they have a great rapport with our school. There's a lot of communication. It's not a dial a 1-800 number and see who you're waiting to talk to. And I know that may sound as a cliche, but I mean, they're on my speed dial. We can talk anytime, after hours, in the morning. We can go ahead and meet. They can come and see the students. They come see their teachers. We do joint observations. We give feedback to the teachers. We do data conversations with the teachers, and we plan together. And we even get recommendations from Sylvan experts that tell us, well, had you thought about adding this student? This is what the data is telling me. And me as an administrator, I think that's very powerful, because then the administration and the leadership has just been empowered that much more. So knowing that I have that great communication, but also that guidepost of excellent leadership in Sylvan is a great benefit to me to be able to better serve the students. I think it's great that we have a local team here, because there's not a dull moment where a teacher, a student, or me as a principal have to wait to find the questions to the problems that we may be facing, or also what we can do to advance. There's no need to wait. I think our students have waited long enough. That's why there's gaps that are in their education. And together, if we have a local team in unison, we can better plan, we can better communicate, and we can better strategize how we can help the student. So most definitely, I love the fact that it's a local team helping us out, because I don't feel like it's a national team. I know that it's a national cause, But I know that we have a local team, and to me that makes us feel like we are their number one priority. There's a particular student that came to us. He came speaking very limited English, and skip over a year of Sylvan support with an excellent teacher, David Gonzalez, and the student was playing one of his soccer games. And before you know it, Mr. Gonzalez, the Sylvan teacher, shows up to his soccer game, and the student has this glow, has this huge smile on his face. It meant a lot that his teachers were there, but the fact that his Sylvan teacher was there just meant the world for him. After the soccer game, the student comes up to the Sylvan teacher and says, "Thank you for coming." But this is where it goes even further. He writes an essay at the end of the year, and in his essay, he decides to speak of a role model, and that role model was his Sylvan teacher. So that told me that moment went very far, because in his essay, he recollected when his Sylvan teacher not only applied everything he had taught him in the class with examples about soccer, but now went to see him in soccer as well and supported him. And so that kind of relationship, you can't really teach. It's something that is expected. It's something that is a common thread in Sylvan and in schools. And when I saw that, it just confirmed what Sylvan was doing for our students. They weren't just a client. They weren't just a program being serviced. They weren't just, a place to go provide the support, but they were actually building a relationship because it taught us that they cared about the student. The student took that message with them. My Sylvan teacher cares about me. And that student has been successful, not only passing the state test, but more than that, increasing his levels of performance in math and reading. If I were to go back when I started being a teacher, or even when I went to being the first year principal, I wish I would have known about Sylvan. I wish Sylvan would have been at my door so that I could have provided the service for the kids and for the teachers. It's a win-win situation for the student. It's a win-win situation for us, the leaders also, because we see best practices. We see a lot of research-based practices that we take back into the classroom. I ask my teachers to go into Sylvan to see how the teacher is doing the one-on-one, so that they can then execute that back into the classroom. And when I see that turnaround in the classroom with the teachers, that tells me that Sylvan is taking me somewhere farther with our school. Because of that, our school has been very successful.